the way that the Bible has been preserved, that speaks to its authenticity, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and its veracity. I mean, when you think that Herod the Great had a secretary by the name of Nicholas of Damascus, again, Herod the Great, for the benefit of our audience, again, contemporary of Jesus, dies about 7 years before Jesus is born, or before Jesus is born, actually. And Herod has a secretary, Nicholas of Damascus. He writes an entire history of the ancient world in 144 volumes, and we have none of them. It is completely lost to history. And you're hitting on something that I'm passionate about. Most Christians have no idea how we got the Bible. They don't know what it is. As we already said, they don't know its basic meaning, content, and message. The story of how the Bible came down to us, and this is what I pointed out in the Fox News article, is a story of heroism, bravery, courage, betrayal, and blood. I mean, when you think about it, I used to live in Oxford, and I went to all of the sites of the Christian history in the United Kingdom when I was studying there. And in 1408, it is a capital offense to have a Bible with you. You will be killed if you have a copy of the Word of God with you in your own language in 1408. Isn't that amazing when you think about it? So there, the problem of biblical literacy was not due to apathy. It was just due to you're going to get killed if you have it in your hands. And what I want our audience to really embrace is the fact that, do you realize that we have the most educated Christians of all time in our churches? I mean, we have more college educated. We have more people who are successful, and yet they are also, which again doesn't make sense, the most biblically illiterate. We have an intelligent church, and when you think about the fact, Chris, that we can know more about the Christian faith today than Charles Spurgeon did through extra biblical confirmations of, let's say, New Testament history. We can know more than Augustine did. We can know more than John Calvin. We can know so much about the Christian faith. I mean, again, Bible history's closest cousin, biblical archaeology. There is so much such a wealth, as you're saying, of manuscript attestation and even more so, I might say. I've had the privilege to be working closely with the Museum of the Bible. We have this amazing Bible going up in Washington, D.C. right now, where the Green family are putting on their collections, and it's going to invite people of all faiths to engage with the Bible. So it's amazing that we can know all of that. We can know more than many of our Christian heroes, and yet we don't.
And you even tell the story when you went to Oxford to that library, and it was kind of tucked away somewhere, this fragment that was one of the earliest known pieces back to the 2nd century, I think it was.
Absolutely. And by the way, thanks for reading my book, Chris. A lot of people that interview me, we have to give them the questions. So I know you've actually read my book, so thank you so much. It is amazing. I mean, when you hold a fragment, a papyrus fragment in your hand that is from the 2nd or 3rd century, or maybe even, as we know now, we might even have a 1st century fragment. I mean, it is truly astounding. And you realize that we have copies of the complete Greek Bible, like Codex Vaticanus in early 4th century, and we have such amazing manuscript attestation and what does that say to us? It says some very important things. It says that the text is stable, and that the New Testament exhibits verisimilitude. That's a wonderful word that we should all know as Christians. It means that the way the Bible explains the world as it was in the 1st century is, guess what? It's actually the way it was. It's what we see in all the other documentary papyri, that, Jesus did grow up a Jew. He was a Jew. And what we read about in the Gospels is true of that world, of that time. And I pointed this out in a recent monograph I did on the resurrection of Jesus. I mean, what we see in the Gospels as it relates to the resurrection is restrained, sober, even embarrassing narrative. Whereas what we see in apocryphal Gospels from the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th centuries, we see them fixing those gaps and embellishing it to where we have Romans who are the witnesses of Jesus, not hysterical women, as Celsus and Porphyry and other objectors said. So it truly is amazing what we can know, and that's my hope through my book, Unanswered, that the audience will take it, read it, and then use it as a tool, and I'm so thrilled we've turned it into a Bible study, and just re-engage. Let me tell you, let me guide you by the hand and tell you the story of the Bible. Let me tell you about Martin Luther. Now, he translated the New Testament in 11 weeks from the Wartburg Castle, and just great stories of William Tyndale and the English Bible. I mean, when you know these stories, you will never read the Bible again on your lap with this kind of detached attitude that so many people do.